21. Trump's 2020 presidential campaign is now falsely fundraising. Indeed, is fraudulently accepting millions of dollars from voters on the premise that the Mueller report has already been released. This is incredible and stretches the boundaries of legality. H/T at J.Y. Sexton. How many times do they need to release different versions of the report? Attorney General Barr already said that the report, quote, did not establish that members of the Trump campaign conspired or coordinated with the Russian government in its election interference activities. Exonerated. 22. Breaking. Mueller allegedly did not draw a final conclusion on obstruction because of difficulty proving intent. By the way, an explanation for non-prosecution you would never hear on these facts if the suspect were the President of the United States. 23. The Post claims tomorrow's version of the Mueller report will be only lightly redacted. The sourcing on this is crucial, as lightly as a subjective and relative assassination seen differently by different observers depending on their positioning. Kyle Griffin, The Washington Post. Yeah. Will offer a granular look at the ways in which Trump was suspected of having obstructed justice. 24. I sense a slight bait and switch here, as we're told the obstruction evidence, which is mostly from the public sphere anyway, will be lightly redacted when, as I've argued, the new, maybe interesting material is on conspiracy. So the DOJ is doing us for no real favors here. 25. Breaking. Democratic Committee chairs call for Barr to cancel tomorrow's wholly unnecessary presser, and just as frankly all Americans wants at this point, release the damn report. 26. Upshot, the Democratic Party, of course, they feel, quote, is unnecessary and inappropriate and appears designed to shape public perceptions of the report before anyone else can read it. He should let the full report speak for itself. 26. Upshot, the Democratic Party is getting beaten bloody by Trump and the DOJ because they insist on acting like we're living in normal times. The truth is the GOP is off the rails and endangering American democracy. Democrats better start acting like we're in an emergency. 27. Democrats should respond to what Barr and the White House have done by releasing all their subpoenas tonight, scores of them, hundreds if need be. It's time to stop screwing around. 28. Secret DOJ Trump coordination, similar to what we saw in October 2016 in the form of secret FBI Trump coordination, is just as bad as the FBI Clinton coordination Trump had alleged without evidence for years. And that's what's been revealed tonight. Yeah, watch. Chuck Todd says report Justice Department brief Trump admin on Mueller findings as actual collusion. 26. I tweeted this 5 hours ago, and now here we are. Barr is exposed to public censure and to historic injury. He is in big trouble if number one, he misrepresented Mueller's work. 2, he secretly gave info to the White House. 3, he over-redacted. 4, he lies to Congress. 5, he's found to have conflicts of interest that require his recusal. Gosh. 5 hours before... I'm sorry. Hold on, I gotta go. Yeah. Oh shoot! No, that's not what I wanted. Come on, go back. I'm trying. Oh, damn it. Oh wait a second. Where was it? Hold on, where was it? Where was I? Hold on. I'll get back there. Okay, here we go. Um, 30, Nadler is speaking out again. Central concern here is that the Attorney General Barr is not allowed the facts of the Mueller report to speak for themselves, but is trying to bake in the narrative about the report of the benefit. Okay, yeah. That's 30. 31. We all thought this thing would go off the rails tomorrow. Turns out it's going off the rails tonight, hence this live thread. Please consider retweeting my pinned tweet so that people can follow along and stay informed on this historic and historically upsetting night. 32. The most asked question in all my inbox is, how do we know Barr didn't shut down the Mueller investigation prematurely? The simple answer, though, it will satisfy no one, is DOJ regs require Barr to certify to Congress that he denied Mueller nothing, and Barr so certified. 33. In case you missed it, a federal judge has already said publicly that Barr is seriously harming Americans' confidence in the Mueller report release process. 34, no, the Politico article. 34, no one from the special counsel's prosecution team will be present as Barr holds a press conference on the report. Couldn't be a clearer signal of the Mueller-Barr tension we saw last week when the team leaked that Barr was downplaying evidence. 35, DOJ will drop 2 Mueller reports today, one for general consumption given to Congress at 11 a.m. and posted on the special counsel's website at noon, and one for the select group of Congress people that has slightly less of it redacted. That will be shown in a special location. 36, a rereading of yesterday's Washington Post story alleging DOJ redactions will be light, especially on obstruction, suggests it did indeed come from either Trump's DOJ or Trump's legal team, as at one point the article attributes that view to one or both of those groups. 37, remember, light redactions on obstruction mean nothing. We've already been told most of the obstruction material is public record. What we'll be telling is if the conspiracy portion of the report, far more likely to contain new and troubling evidence, is heavily redacted. 38, so I fear the Post inadvertently revealing at least the general sphere from which its information on redaction came. Trump's DOJ or Trump's legal team is yet another attempt by those two entities who we now know have worked in tandem to frame today's narrative early. 39, this should produce some concurrent concern as to the other big scoop from yesterday, the idea Mueller struggled to figure out Trump's intent on obstruction despite him broadcasting his intent nationally on multiple occasions. That might be pre-framing too. 40, we're 10 minutes from Barr's presser at which tellingly no one from Mueller's team will be, but Rosenstein, what is an obstruction case, who also made the final call on that case, will. I hope you'll retweet my pinned tweet to spread the word about this live thread. 41, that Trump was tweeting now about Barr's presser and declared its existence on WMAL before the DOJ did, and that Pompeo was seen at DOJ, which he never is, right before the announcement of it, tells you exactly what this press conference will be, a Trump marketing tool. 42, Trump has now tweeted a domestic disinformation video that says wrongly but repeatedly, while weaponizing misreporting on the subject as well, that the Mueller report resolves the collusion question rather than just a narrow conspiracy question. The two aren't synonymous. 43, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer have now publicly called for Mueller and his team to testify before Congress as soon as possible. AG Barr is just seconds away from coming to the lectern. If he stays on schedule this morning, everyone should understand this is a Trump PR event, that's all. 44, what Barr has done is make it very hard to cover his presser. If Barr lies about the report or misrepresents it or leaves out critical information, there's not much I can do about it in trying to get the truth out to readers because I haven't seen the report. No one has. Not even Barr. 45. When you read Rod Rosenstein on the stage with Barr, remember that when you see Rod Rosenstein on the stage with Barr, remember that DOJ regulation required that he recuse himself from this case the moment he learned he was a major witness to the obstruction investigation. I called for his recusal. He didn't recuse, and now here we are. 46. Barr is here. Here we go. 47. I'd like to make a few comments on this report. Barr says he thanks Rosenstein for his help and is pumping up now a critical strategic decision given that Rosenstein backed Barr up on saying Trump wouldn't be indictable for obstruction. Rosenstein should have recused. 48. Volume 1 of the Mueller report is about conspiracy. Barr repeats the report did not establish beyond a reasonable doubt finding. Barr says Russia did not have the cooperation or knowing assistance from anyone of the Trump campaign or any American. 49. Barr says Mueller focused on the actions of the Internet Research Agency and the GRU, confirming my prior claims that Mueller looked at the conspiracy question in a narrow way, investigating whether Trump or his team conspired with the IRA or GRU, which no one ever alleged. 50. Barr has just deliberately used the misleading Trumpian phrase, no collusion, confirming he has coordinated his rhetoric with the White House. Barr was careful, though, and said no collusion with the IRA. Again, not something anyone ever alleged. 51. Barr is vindicating Trump on what Trump has already claimed he was innocent of, but not what he has been accused of. So Barr is again saying Trump's people didn't participate in the dissemination of hacked materials. 52. The third conspiracy-related item Mueller looked at per Barr was if Trump and his campaign conspired with individuals related to the Russian government. This is the crux of the actual allegation against Trump, which is perhaps why Barr was so vague about what Mueller found. 53. The obstruction issue will go to Congress. Barr Rosenstein views are immaterial. It's almost not worth publishing Barr's defense of Trump here, which is what Barr is giving right now. It's just Trump PR, and that's going to help matter here in the third conspiracy allegation. 54. Barr is providing exactly the full-throated obstruction defense of Trump that his lawyers will give. This is embarrassing. This is a dark day for the DOJ. 55. Barr is explaining the 4 categories of redaction. I'm telling you, nearly all the redactions relate to the third of 3 conspiracy topics. Trump and his team's contact with Russia, who may not have worked in the Russian government. That's the ballgame for this report. 56. Anyone reading the Mueller report today should go straight to the third part of Volume 1 of the report, which deals with conspiracy with non-government Russian nationals. Barr was most euphemistic on this topic, most vague, likely because this is the real allegation. 57. Barr's presentation today, if you're not watching, watch it later. Barr sounds like a Trump spokesman. He's praising Trump for not invoking defective privilege. This is so embarrassing for law enforcement. Trump is the target of the probe. Barr is now the face of. 58. All questions for Barr now should be about Volumes 1, Part 3 of the Mueller report. All the action today, and I bet nearly all the redactions will be in this part of the report. Obstruction is going to go through the Congress, and the IRA/GRU allegations were never serious. 59. The very first question asked to Barr about the report, and he's basically saying, you have to read the report. Then why are we having this press conference? Why is Barr talking about only the parts of the report he wants to talk about and deferring to all other topics? 60. Barr says the only question in the report was whether there was a criminal conduct. That's really odd, because we were told the counterintelligence investigation were part of the report. This makes it sound like it wasn't, because criminal equals counterintelligence. 61. Barr admits that he doesn't know whether Mueller wanted the obstruction issue to go to Congress. 62. Barr, I have no problem with Bob Mueller personally testifying before Congress. Okay, not sure what personally means. 63. William Barr says the Mueller report is his, not Mueller's, which is why Mueller isn't present at the presser. He also says that there's no obligation for him to make the report public. The DOJ then calls the presser. Wow, that was purely Trump PR followed by the hook. 64. Barr is going to get skewered for this presser, and he deserves to be. 65. AG Barr simply stood up there and presented excuse about Trump's conduct while still refusing to show us the report until later today. Neil Katyal points out that on MSNBC that Barr refused to mention the does not exonerate part of this report, which is a pretty big deal. 66. Today was Barr's fifth presentation summary on the report, and we still haven't seen it. 67. The question is, how did Mueller define conspiracy in Volume 1, Part 3 of the report? That's the part dealing with non-governmental Russian nationals. Did Mueller consider any potential offenses involving Trump world and non-governmental Russian nationals, or just conspiracy? 68. Did Mueller look at bribery, money laundering, RICO, illegal solicitation of foreign campaign donations, aiding and abetting, conspiracy to defraud the United States, which might well be seen not as a conspiracy with Russian nationals or just one stranded conspiracy? 69. Remember that collusion is not a legal term, but it is an umbrella term for a series of federal criminal statutes that a violation of which would, in a speaking indictment, be undergirded by, broadly speaking, collusive conduct in the commonsensical sense of that word. 70. I believe what we will discover in 2 hours is A, all the counterintelligence information about whether Trump's compromise will be erased from the Mueller report, and B, the only conspiracies really discussed in the report will be those that no one accused Trump of. 71. Barr trumpeted Trump's cooperation with investigators. Wow, he fought responding to questions for over a year, and when he did, he'd only accept written questions on narrow topics with no follow-up. Not to mention, he fired Comey, tried to fire Mueller twice, fired Sessions. 72. AG Barr also confirmed that the White House had early access to the report, i.e., while it was preparing its counter-response. NBC had already called this actual collusion. MSNBC's Ari Melber noted Barr said Mueller looked at 10 events in the obstruction timeline in particular. 73. Trump is on a full PR offensive on Twitter, but even on Fox News, Chris Wallace is saying that Barr's press conference now just did not seem like a press conference by an attorney general, but an advocate for the president. No one is buying this massive Trump PR blitz. 74. Katyal notes rightly that Barr praised Trump whenever possible, but never noted that Trump was, among much else, proved wrong on who interfered with his 2016 election and how serious the interference was. All those tweets about this being a witch hunt investigation, wrong. 75. MSNBC notes, too, that what I've been writing about here on Twitter for a year, we're talking about obstruction. Was Trump angry when he obstructed? Was he frustrated when he obstructed? Was he in an unprecedented situation? In a way, we never would with an average citizen. 76. Any attorney listening to Barr hear euphemistic careful language in his presentation. In other words, Barr was putting a gloss on the case in a way a defense lawyer would, but not even the way a lawyer would in court, but the way an attorney might outside a courthouse. 77. Too few people are noting the following key and overarching fact. William Barr no longer has credibility as the Attorney General on any matters relating to Donald Trump. It is impossible to imagine any journalist crediting Barr on any Trump-related issue going forward. 78. Neil Katyal, who helped write the DOJ special counsel regulations, notes that Barr offering up Mueller's testimony to Congress was, well, worth nothing at all, as Mueller will shortly be outside the authority of the DOJ, and really, Barr can't stop him from testifying anyway. 79. People misconstrue the problem with Barr using the term collusion. It's not that it's not a legal term, though it's not. It's that it's a hard term to use accurately in this context, though you can, and it can't easily be used as political rhetoric, and that's how Barr used it. 80, breaking. Jonathan Swan, Trump's personal lawyer, Jay Sekulow, just told me he first saw the Mueller report on Tuesday afternoon. Trump's legal team, including the Raskins, made 2 visits to the Justice Department to view the report securely, late Tuesday and early Wednesday, Sekulow said. 81, long ago, we were told by many media outlets that Rosenstein was a survivor. We were told that meant that he did what he had to do to survive professionally, that he was flexible. Well, here's what having no core principles looks like in practice. Adrian Watson at Adrian_DNC. Remember when Rosenstein wrote this in a letter so he could fire Comey? We do not hold press conferences about the subject of a declined criminal investigation. Rod Rosenstein. Hmm. Huh. Well, still. 82. This will be one time during this life thread I repeat something I've often said on my feed. Never, ever ask why men and women will throw away their good name for Trump. The GOP has made it clear they think Trump could tear the party in two and destroy it if they cross him. 83. The GOP has long been winning elections despite being a minority party whose views most Americans disagree with. Since 1994, it's rarely been about principles, but rather multifaceted voter suppression. So no, nothing is more important than keeping the party alive. 84. Per usual, Asha Rapanga gets it. Note, Barr conflated the term collusion with conspiracy. The former describes a kind of behavior, secretly coordinated activity for a common goal, and the later is a narrowly defined crime. Actions that do not meet the criminal definition of conspiracy can still be collusion. To wit, if members of Trump's campaign were coordinating with WikiLeaks to disseminate emails harmful to Hillary Rodham Clinton to benefit Trump, it is of no moment that such activity could not be charged as conspiracy. It is still collusion with an intelligent arm of a hostile foreign adversary. 85. I do differ from Ashrapanga in distinguishing between 4 scenarios. 1. Collusion by conspiracy, a crime. 2. Collusion by other crimes, a crime. 3. Non-criminal collusion, a national security threat. 4. Non-criminal collusion, an ethical offense. The first 3 are impeachable. 86. Barr's use of collusion at most referred to scenario 1 of 4, collusion by criminal conspiracy. I'd argue that he was only referring to conspiracy with certain people at certain times. However, his political trick was to pretend he was referring to all 4 types. 87. If you were alive in America from 2017 through the present, you know that 10 is a very small number compared to the public behavior we saw from Trump and the private behavior we read about in major media. Just Barr, the Politico points, Barr said Mueller examined 10 episodes that could have amounted to obstruction, but that he and Deputy AG Rod Rosenstein ultimately determined the facts did not amount to evidence of a crime. Breaking. Papadopoulos appears to have lied in saying he never told an Australian diplomat in April 2016 about the Kremlin having stolen Clinton emails. Intel Trump advisor John Mashburn says Papadopoulos then passed to the campaign, meaning Trump knew. Yeah, this is a BuzzFeed article. 86. Congress gets a redacted Mueller report in 2 minutes. 90. This is incorrect. We're waiting on Mueller to tell us if there was a probable criminal conspiracy in the collusion we know about, and are waiting on 20 other investigations to tell us if there was other impeachable crimes in that collusion. Brian Bettler saying this has been a whole shebang for nearly 2 years. We established collusion a long time ago. We're waiting on Mueller to tell us whether any of the collusion behavior amounted to a probable conspiracy theory or criminal conspiracy. I'm gonna 91. In the way Barr has framed the Mueller report, it's certain we won't get even a complete answer on whether there was a criminal conspiracy in the collusion we know about, as Trump's collusion with Russia was part of a multinational conspiracy Mueller didn't investigate. 92. The reports we've had from the NYT, Washington Post, ProPublica, and others have established that Trump's collusion with Russia was part of a broader grand bargain. involving at least 6 countries. Yet we've heard none of those countries but Russia named by Barr in his presser. 93. So in speaking carefully today, we must say that at most, what we will learn in an hour is how much evidence there is that Trump or his circle engaged in one type of conspiracy with one type of co-conspirator, Russian government officials, and perhaps their cutouts. 94. Major breaking news, Mueller report released. Link justice.gov/storage/report. More coming very soon. 95. Note, I'm only going to focus on new information in the report that readers of this feed do not already know. More coming very soon. 96. The executive's summary to the conspiracy section, volume 1, seems to suggest that Mueller believes the first report to U.S. intelligence about Russia came from the Australians in July regarding Papadopoulos' May 2016 meeting with Downer. An early typo, I said April. 97. To be clear, though, I don't want to draw conclusions from the executive summary, especially as counterintelligence information from our Western allies may have been redacted. So let's proceed with caution and simply put a pin on the Papadopoulos-Downer meeting in May 2016. 98. The investigation also identified numerous links between the Russian government and the Trump campaign. Barr didn't note that. 99. You will hear many today distinguish quite rightly between did not establish beyond a reasonable doubt and no evidence of conspiracy, no coordination, which Mueller apparently defined identically as conspiracy. 100. The report explicitly says that did not establish does not mean there was no evidence. Wow. Mueller anticipated the Trump-Barr line of political rhetoric and fully diffused it in the first 2 pages of the report. That's something else we never heard from Barr. 101. Confirmed. Mueller says he looked only at the crime of conspiracy, not at other crimes besides obstruction, of course. 102. Wow. Mueller's summary of the report content does not say he looked at conspiracy with anyone but Russian government officials. That means that Barr may have misrepresented the report in saying just minutes ago that it looked at conspiracy with all Russian nationals. 103. The first redaction is harm to ongoing matter and involves a Russian propaganda campaign. Already find myself thinking that what was redacted would be incredibly enlightening, and this is just the first redaction. 104. The second redaction appears to be that Roger Stone began telling the campaign in June 2016 that WikiLeaks would be releasing damaging information. Stone's name is what is likely based on other info. What is redacted? Who does Stone tell? The evidence points to Trump here. 105. What it says, however, is simply senior campaign officials. I find it odd Mueller would think to note Trump later said his Russia if you're listening comment was sarcastic. That's not exculpatory, as that it was said after Trump was told his comment was a problem. 106 seems to be sticky very early on. Mueller says he's looking at individuals of ties to the Russian government, but then concludes no conspiracy provable beyond a reasonable doubt with the Russian government, which it is. Which is it? The government or government plus those with ties? 107. Early indications are that Mueller report may not include Trump-Russia ties from before 2015. We'll see, but that's an early indication. 108. Mueller's early Papadopoulos summary does not include the allegation from Trump advisor John Mashburn that Papadopoulos told the campaign what Mifsud told him about the Kremlin having stolen Clinton emails. I'm not sure why. This was congressional testimony from Mashburn. 109. I'm hoping this early summary is bare bones because it's certainly very credulous, saying that Page went to Moscow in his personal capacity when it's clear the campaign knew of the trip, approved it, and afterwards was briefed on it because Page met a Kremlin official. 110. Mueller set the date for U.S. intel hearing from Australia on Papadopoulos/Downer as between July 22nd, 2016 and July 29. Moreover, it cites Papadopoulos as telling Downer the Kremlin could assist the Trump campaign. That's new information about how Papadopoulos phrased it. 111. Wow. Mueller says the Trump campaign's data sharing with a man tied to Russian intelligence, Kilimnik, began months before August 2016 and continued for months after, which is crazy because Manafort, the Kilimnik contact, was fired in mid-August. How did the sharing happen? 112. The report is so far at great pains not to name George Nader, but he is definitely referenced. Far bigger news, Kushner passed a Russian sanctions plan approved by Putin to banning and Tillerson. It's hard to imagine he hid it from Trump. This was during the transition. 113. I find it odd that the summary doesn't mention Trump and Flynn's August 17, 2016 class briefing on Russia. It's one of the biggest moments in the timeline, legally speaking, and it hasn't appeared yet. 114. Holy crap. Trump told advisors it was the end of his presidency when Mueller was appointed. Was he simply whining, or is that just consciousness of guilt? Jesus Christ, what a thing to say. And this is just the executive summary. 115. Mueller has now convinced a major topic of dispute. Page 9. He simply concluded insufficient evidence to convict beyond reasonable doubt on conspiracy. That's a totally different result than no evidence. 116, I want to be clear that I am moving through this document methodically. I am not going to skip pages as it may lead to inaccurate analysis. I don't care if others are doing so. Bear with me and we'll get to everything. 117 is charging section. The three collusive crimes Mueller says he looked at were 1, FARA, Foreign Agent Registration Act, 2, campaign finance crimes, 3, conspiracy. There's a pretty narrow window into which Mueller looked, though it does seem to cover illegal solicitation of foreign campaign donations. 118, I'm not going to talk much of Mueller concluding there was no chargeable hacking conspiracy, as to be very clear, no one ever alleged that. It's no surprise what Mueller found. 119, wait, why does Mueller say he only charged some of the lies Trump campaign staff told to Congress and law enforcement? By definition, any such lies are crimes. If you're calling them lies rather than merely accidental omission, we better get some explanation of this. 120. Every Trump-Russia expert says we still have uncharged lies told by Trump aides to Congress and law enforcement. Mueller has now confirmed it. The question is, were these lies not charged because these individuals are now cooperating in other prosecutions or investigations? 121. Note the difference between established and did not establish. So Mueller says he determined that the Mayflower interaction between Kislyak and Trump aides was non-substantive, but it did not establish, couldn't prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Trump was involved or Russia was involved in the RNC platform change, even though Gordon said the former and Kilinnik said the latter. But see the difference, Mueller isn't excluding the possibility Trump and or Russia orchestrated change. He couldn't prove it fully. 123, Mueller then provided a litany of ways in which his office was stymied in its efforts to get at the truth, explaining in part why many things couldn't be established beyond a reasonable doubt. This section should get much more attention by the media than it likely will. 124, wow, how Mueller says he was stymied. 1, Fifth Amendment invocations. 2, legal DOJ policies on attorneys and media. 3, legal privilege protected by team review. 4, false and incomplete information by Trumpists. 5, witnesses and documents abroad. 6, destruction of evidence. 125, bookmark the hell out of the statement by Mueller, page 10, has given all the different ways that Mueller was stymied, and a statement that he simply couldn't establish certain things like beyond a reasonable doubt. This paragraph should be stapled on the doors of Congress. Accordingly, while this report embodies factual and legal determinations that the office believes it to be accurate and complete to the greatest extent possible, given these identified gaps, the office cannot rule out the possibility that the unavailable information would shed additional light or cast in a new light the events described in this report. So who stopped Mueller from getting a definitive picture of what happened? By and large, non-compliance or lying by Trump allies. Wow. In August 2017, Rosenstein explicitly authorized Mueller to investigate criminal charges on the subject of whether Page, Manafort, or Papadopoulos were colluding. Yes, the exact term used with the Russian. 128. Mueller confirms he was indeed investigating Papadopoulos as an Israeli agent in not one but 4 set of allegations against Flynn. 129, October 2017, Rosenstein authorized Mueller to currently investigate 2 individuals whose names are redacted for, it says, personal privacy reasons. I must wonder if either are still the subject of criminal investigation, so we much speculation who they are. 130, for how long did I say that Sessions was under investigation for lying to Congress? How frequently was I ridiculed? Well, here it is. The FBI and the SCO investigated this. Investigation including Paul Manafort, finding a memorandum, described an FBI investigation opened before the special counsel's appointment and allegations that then Attorney General Jeff Sessions made false statements. He has the Senate, the special counsel's authority to investigate that matter. 131. Mueller looked into whether Cohen's shell corp for Trump mistress payoffs received money from the Russians. Well, we'll be interested to see the expanded section on that topic. 132. Mueller is leaving a lot of daylight for other entities, including committees in Congress, to investigate Trump, Russia, and to do so while saying quite truthfully that the SCO did not conduct certain investigations. It's almost an invitation that Mueller gives here. Election interference for nearly 10 months. The special counsel's office exercised its judgment regarding what to investigate and did not, for instance, investigate every public report or contact with the Trump campaign and Russia-affiliated individuals and entities. 133, did I say that Mueller's work wouldn't end, but merely transform? Yes, and I was correct. Mueller has confirmed it. The office concluded its investigation into the links and coordination between Russian government and individuals associated with the Trump campaign. Certain proceedings associated with the office's work remain ongoing. After consultation with the Office of the Deputy Attorney General, the office has transferred responsibility for those remaining issues and other components of the Department of Justice and FBI. Appendix D lists those transfers. 34. This is absolute must read and underscores that we are just at the beginning of looking at collusive activities that were outside Mueller's narrowly self-drawn scope. Bottom of page 12. Sup 3D 640 650 to 655 EDVA 2018, Eastern District of Virginia. In the course of conducting that investigation, the office periodically identified evidence of potential criminal activity that was outside the scope of the special counsel's authority established by the acting attorney general. After consultation with the office of the DAG, the office referred that evidence to appropriate law enforcement authorities, principally other components of the Department of Justice, and to the FBI. Appendix D summarizes these referrals. 135, breaking. Hold on. Oops. All right, okay, you know what? Okay. There's a claim being made online that the DOJ accidentally left a way to see redactions. I will not write more about this until it's confirmed, but I did want to acknowledge that an attorney out there is making this claim. I'll follow up on those claims later. 136, Mueller essentially says that a good deal of counterintelligence information, the category of information that tells us whether Trump is impeachable as a national security threat because he is compromised, is absent from the report. He also applies those probes continue. 137, a page footnote worth flagging. The office is aware of reports that other Russian entities engaged in similar activity measures operations targeting the United States. Some evidence collected by the office corroborates those reports, and the office has shared that evidence with other offices in the Department of Justice and FBI. 138, almost the whole RRA section of the report is redacted. This is not light redaction. You can hardly read any of it. This suggests I was right in thinking DOJ/Trump fed the Post the info that the report was lightly redacted, and we're referring to obstruction. 139. I'm not going to screenshot it, but folks, like almost the whole IRA section, page after page after page, is nearly 100% redacted. 140. Note, if you haven't already, please consider retweeting my pinned tweet, the first tweet in this thread, so others around the country can follow along if they like. We're going to be here a while, and we're going to do this right. No selective rush quoting like on TV. 141. Mueller's report says that internal RRA documents began referencing aiding Trump at least as early as February 2016, essentially the very beginning of the GOP primaries, suggesting that Putin was on board with Trump becoming president from the very beginning of voting. 142. The Kremlin-backed internet research agency's 100% pro-Trump propaganda campaign reached tens of millions of American voters. Per the Mueller report, remember, this was an election decided in Trump's favor by 77,000 votes. 143. We always knew Trump aides and allies amplified Russian propaganda, but Mueller confirmed it in its writing with just a few examples. Profile U.S. person, including former Ambassador Michael McFaul, Roger Stone, Sean Hannity, and Michael Flynn Jr., retweeted or responded to tweets posted to these IRA-controlled accounts. Multiple individuals affiliated with the Trump campaign also promoted IRA tweets. 144. I want to note that far and away the largest redacted category is harm to ongoing matter. Don't lose sight of that. We still have 20 pending federal and state investigations into Donald Trump and his family, his aides, his advisors, allies, and his associates. 145, an actual page from the IRA section of the report. It's just black with the words harm to ongoing matter in the upper left-hand corner in white. How long is this again? I forgot how many tweets there were. I think I'm going to pause for now and just keep I need to retweet and heart all the other. God. I forget how many. I think I stopped at a good point. No, I'm not really that tired, but yeah, okay. I know that the Vice News channel, they read they have people on their staff reading the report or reading the Mueller report. Taking turns, and it's to get it done in under 12 hours, reading it aloud word for word. I need to eventually watch. I'll eventually watch it to listen to it so I can keep track of how many people took turns. But yeah, this is. Oh wow, this is over 400 tweets. It's almost like he's got one tweet per page. I'm gonna. I think I should just. Yeah, I should probably Yeah, 452 tweets total. I think, is this officially a record? Somebody should tell Guinness World Records that this is perhaps the longest Twitter thread ever. Yeah, 452 tweets. That's weird. One of them mentions I'm at number 420 for some funny reason. It mentions this Baroque song, Mary Jane. You know. Okay. I'm gonna. Okay. Oh. Okay. It was 450 tweets, I guess. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna for tonight. I'm gonna stop at Yeah, I'm stopping where I stopped at the black page, tweet number 135, and I'll continue the rest of this tomorrow. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. It was tweet 145. All right. Ending stream.